Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 273. Today we're going to talk about Camel Up. Now this is a very interesting game. It is from Pegasus Spiel and Eggert Spiel, and I think it's being brought over in some regard to the United States. You might have to go to Board Game Geek and research that. This is basically an import, comes with German and English rules, so I got it through GameSurplus.com. He's always good about getting that stuff over. So if you do get it from him, it will have English rules in it. Now the game is basically a racing game, but it's more a betting game. You're not actually racing the other players, you're betting and picking your camel that you think will win. So it plays a lot like Winner's Circle from Reiner Knizia, which is a much older game, also very rare and impossible to get. A game that I played several years ago, and it's pretty fun. Now this plays 2 to 8 players, and I think Winner's Circle also plays 2 to 8 players, maybe more. But it's very much in that vein, sort of betting and sort of gauging other players and moving a camel here or there, and then seeing what the outcome is and collecting money. And you basically play it over a couple of different legs, and then whoever has the most money at the end is the winner. It's got some really interesting kind of funky components though, and stacking camels, a pyramid full of dice, and some other cool stuff. So let's take a look how it plays, and I'll tell you my thoughts. Okay, here you can see all of the components just before setup. Now, one thing to note here is this pyramid, and this pyramid actually has 5 different dice in it. I don't know if you can see that. Matching the colors there. So there's a blue, green, orange, and yellow, and white die inside here. Now, if you notice, there's no elastic band here because it comes with 3 elastic bands, all of which have been broken. They do not hold up very well. The unfortunate thing is they actually hold the pyramid together, so I've gone ahead and used some modeling glue to hold that together. It's not the end of the world, but just know that that thing is going to break on you, and don't be disappointed when it does. So the first thing you're going to do is basically roll a die to figure out the starting position of these camels in the race. So we're just going to dump out all the dice here, and then we're going to roll them. And so we'll do a roll here, and so we see 3 on the 2s, and then 1 on the 3 and the 1. So the green's going to go in space 1. You can see that here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then all of these we can just randomly put yellow, blue, and white on space 2. And then of course orange is going to go on space 3. So you can see here, oh, what's that? These camels actually stack up. That's cool. All right. So after you do that, you're going to put the dice back into the pyramid here to be rolled later on in the game. So we're going to set that there, seal up our pyramid, and now we're ready to start. Now you can see here, this game actually plays from 2 to 8 players. Each player is going to get this little oasis tile here, and it's double-sided. You can see that it has a +1 there, and then a -1 on that side. And then you get 5 betting cards, again, each matching the color of the camel that you either expect to win or to get last place. Everybody gets $3 to start the game. You've got these little tokens here for money, and also a 10 and 20 for cards there. So if you take a look there, that is the money in the game. An object to win the game is to have the most money. So when it comes to your turn, you basically have 4 actions. The first action that you can do is to take one of these leg betting tiles. So you can see here is a tile for the blue camel. You can see if it is currently in first place at the end of the first leg, or this current leg, then you're going to get $5. If it's in second place, you're going to get $1. If it's anywhere else, 3rd, 4th, or 5th place, you actually will lose $1 at the end of that leg. And now each of the different camels has an identical set of leg tiles here. So the first person to grab it, let's say blue did end up being in front. So let's say these were down here, and then let's say blue was over here. If blue is on top, it's considered ahead of the other ones. So if this were the case, then I would get $5. Some other player may have taken this and they would get $3 for it being in first, and then again 1 for second, -1 for otherwise. And then finally there's a 2. So as a lead is sort of established, or you expect it's established, there will be a grab for these different colored tiles to take. So that's the first action you can take. You can take one of those betting tiles. The second thing you can do is place your desert tile here, this oasis tile. So you can place it either on the +1 side or the -1 side. Now there's only 2 rules to this. You cannot place it adjacent to another player's desert tile. You also cannot place it in the first spot there. So anywhere else is legal as long as it's empty. So I guess that's 3 rules. Now what happens here, let's say we had this and then white moved, and the one thing that's interesting is when you move, anything that's above it, it carries with it. So in this case, if white hit here, then it's going to hit this tile. If it ends its movement on this tile, whoever owns the tile is going to get $1, and the horse or stack of horses is going to move backwards 1 or +1. So if it was on the +1 side, then white will move here, and then that will end the turn. That's only if it ends its movement on there. So just for example, if yellow was here, let's say white moved 1, it would move here, and then it would jump and land on top of yellow. Now if it moved backwards, let's say yellow was here, and then white and blue are here, and so let's say we rolled a 2 for white, 1, 2, and then it was supposed to move backwards. When it moves backwards, it actually goes underneath whatever's there. So that's your second action that you can do, is you can place your desert. Now the third action that you can do is to take one of these pyramid tiles here, and this also acts as a round counter. Now there's 5 of these, and there's also 5 horses or 5 camels and 5 dice. So when the last of these is taken, the round will be over. Now when you take these, what you do is you actually go over here to this pyramid, and then you pick it up and you shake it around, and then you roll a die out of it. So I'll just show you that. So you're gonna pick this up, you flip it over, move that little doorway, lift it up, and now we can see, hey, the yellow camel is going to move 2. So we'll zoom out here. Where's the yellow camel? So he's just going to go here, 1, 2, and then we'll take the yellow die and put it there. So basically, after we've moved each camel once for the leg or the round, then the round is going to be over. Now we have one final action, and then I'll talk about scoring here. So everybody, as I said, they get a betting card here. So what you can do for your fourth possible action is take a color of a camel, so let's say we'll take white here, and you can put it in one of these 2 spaces. If you put it in this space, that means you're sort of betting that you think the camel will be first place. If you put it in the space over here, that means you're betting that it will be in last place. If you think that orange is going to be last, we go ahead and put those there. So those are the 4 actions you can do. So you can take a leg tile, you can place your desert tile, you can take a pyramid tile and roll a die, or you can place a bet. And you can place multiple bets in either of these. So theoretically, if I wanted, I could put all of my betting cards in first place, just so I figured that I could at least get the winner somehow. But wrong bets are going to cost you money at the end of the game. So what happens when we go through all 5 dice, let's say all of these have moved, this is like the first round, so they've all moved a little bit, and then once all 5 dice have been chosen, all 5 pyramids are gone, then you're going to do leg scoring or round scoring. And again, at the end of the round, whoever has in the current lead, so in this case it's blue, you're going to get $5. And it's feasible if people were asleep on you that you could grab 2 of these. So if I had these, I would get $8 for blue being in front. And again, you lose money, so if I had the green tile here, I would lose $1. And then for each of these pyramid tiles, you get $1. So it's kind of bad to choose to roll a die, because then you're kind of wasting your turn just moving something instead of making a bet, so to speak. So they give you kind of a $1 as a consolation prize. So once everybody's been distributed out of their money, all of these tiles are going to go back. Any Oasis tiles that you have are also going to come off the board. Oh, and the other thing you can do is you can actually, for your action, instead of placing your desert tile, you can actually move it somewhere. As long as it's legal, you can actually take the action to move it. So all those are going to come off, and then the round is going to end when one camel or more than one camel goes ahead and finishes the race. Then the round is going to immediately end like that, and then you're going to do another leg scoring. So even if we haven't rolled all the dice, you're still going to look at all the different colors and pay your bucks and lose your dollars. And then we're going to go ahead and flip over each of these piles here. So these are all by the same color or same player, but the first player who picks the right winner, so in this case it would be blue, would get $8. Each other card in here that's wrong is going to be minus $1. So if, let's say this player here stupidly put all their cards in over the course of the game, they'd lose $1, they would get $8, and then the next card to come up, that would be blue. Let's say we went through here. So okay, you also got blue right. The next one to come up will get $5, then 3, then 2, then 1. So it's good to be in early there as long as you're right. Otherwise you lose $1 for each card. And the same for last place. You flip them over, then you count through them, because that's the order that they were in. The first player to pick the right loser gets 8, and then 5, then 3, then 2, then 1, and then any wrong card also loses $1. So that is how you play the game. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the overview. First thing I should say about this one is it's better with more players. The more players you get, the much better it is. The less players you get, the more the first couple of rounds are kind of sort of bleh, kind of automatic, because it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to take a betting tile because I don't have a clue who's going to be winning, so screw it, I'm going to roll a die and see what happens. Then you've now established the game more for everybody following you. So you got to kind of do that. Now you still have that in the multiplayer game, but after that first round, it gets more interesting. So it's just I'm kind of overselling strategy here. I should stop myself. It's a very, very light, kind of family-friendly game. Don't get too crazy about the strategy, but it's kind of neat. After that kind of first round goes along, you kind of really have to, kind of watch and take chances with the betting and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool because of the way the camels carry each other. Because you're like, oh, white's going to win this, but oh, geez, he just got carried all the way over here, and now green's caught up. And I've seen a race where like green was way in the back for like halfway, and then he got caught up because some people put their desert tiles and jumped them up. And just to, screw with people that started putting the betting cards in. Or you can put a betting card in for green and people think, oh, he's just going with the front runner. And then meanwhile, he does what he can to kind of help green come up a little bit. So it's got that, that aspect to it, and it's a lot like Winter Circle in that way. But it's not so much like sort of bluffing, because in that game you could kind of choose the die that you rolled and move the horse. So you'd be like, well, is he moving that horse to help himself or to throw me off? There's a slight bit of that here, but not really. But it's fun. It does elicit laughter because, you get the guy coming from behind and catching up and all that stuff. And I would say definitely it's targeted towards families more than gamers. And it's one that my son has liked, and he hasn't liked a lot of games at all lately. So this is one he really had a good time with, because you get to flip the pyramid over and shake it and put the die out. And the camels are nice and big and chunky, and all the components and everything look really good. So I would totally recommend this game. I think this is a game that you can have fun with at a game night, with fillers and, as a kind of filler, and definitely with the family too. So I think it's going to kind of serve that. It's a very fun, interactive game to play where you can kind of, talk smack to each other about which one's going to win and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, Camel Up. Like I said, I don't know exactly when it's coming over this side, if it's going to come over, but I think it is. So look out for it. Thanks.